and welcome to the Nasboys Sports Podcast. Now, did you know that the Cleveland Browns scored 42 points, had 532 yards with 0 turnovers in today's game? They are the first team in NFL history, including the playoffs, to lose when having either 40 points and 0 turnovers or 40 points, 500 yards, and 0 turnovers. So anyways, guys, welcome to the Nasboys Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Mike, a.k.a. Mike Bobfan 101, with my good friend and co-host, Christian, a.k.a. C-Will.
What's up, guys? Hope you're all having a great week.
Yes, the week is now over. When you're watching this, it's probably Wednesday or Thursday. So hope you guys are having a great week and you had a great weekend and watching some sports. We're going to talk about the sports that you might have watched. So let's get started. We're going to start off with the NFL. Texans release wide receiver Anthony Miller. Stephon Gilmore signs with the Panthers. That is a great move for the Panthers. They have the best defense in the league right now, and that just made it even better. So good job, Panthers.
Yeah, I really like that move for the Panthers. I mean, first off, Stephon Gilmore is one of my favorite players. He played for South Carolina, University of South Carolina. And I was hoping that he would play for a team that I like and don't like, because he was with the Patriots. I don't like the Patriots, so I'm glad he's now with the Panthers, and it's like basically his home state, hometown team. So it's really cool to see, and it adds some more depth to the Panthers defense. Unfortunately, they did lose today to the Eagles, 21-18, so the Panthers have lost 2 straight.
How does one lose to the Eagles this year?
Eagles aren't too bad. I'm not going to lie, they're not too bad. But
in my opinion, they're the weakest link in the worst division in football. Maybe the Redskins or the football team, whatever you want to call them.
I think the Giants are the worst team.
Actually, yeah, never mind. I forgot about them. That's how bad the Giants are. I forgot about them.
Yeah, and speaking of your Washington football team, they had a heartbreaking loss today, Mike, to the Saints, 33-22.
Matt, I don't want to hear it. I mean, their defense is one of the worst, if not the worst, in football. I mean, they were projected to be a top 5 defense. They don't blitz. They just let people go. Like they let Alvin Kamara go for a touchdown, and that's the guy you got to cover. You got to freaking cover Alvin Kamara. Cole Holcomb, he was so slow and he couldn't stop a receiver. Chase Young hasn't gotten a sack yet, I don't think. So disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, the Saints had a good bounce back performance too. Jameis Winston had 4 touchdowns. We saw Marcus Callaway, not Cooley. I'm used to seeing him. He was a receiver for them for a bit, but Marcus Callaway with 2 touchdowns. Kamara only had 1 touchdown, surprisingly, but Washington falls to 2-3, and the Saints are 3-2.
Yeah, and right now I'm currently watching the Buffalo and Kansas City game. At the moment, the score is 14-10, Buffalo. Very interesting.
Rematch the AFC Championship game.
Yes, that's why I had to watch it. I usually don't want to watch Sunday Night Football games. But Packers signed Jalen Smith. This isn't too bad, I don't think.
Yeah, I have to say the same. It's a decent move. I don't really know a whole lot about him, but speaking of the Packers, they end up winning today with a field goal in overtime against the Bengals, 25-22. Mason Crosby with the game winner.
Hard attempt for the win from the left hash. 2 minutes remaining in overtime. Crosby's kick this time is good. From GOAT to hero, Crosby wins it in overtime.
And both sides kept missing a good bit of field goals in this game, but the Packers held on to get their 4th win of the season.
So next up we got John Gruden says something racist. A 2011 email had leaked saying that the NFLPA executive director DeMaurice Smith says he has the lips the size of Michelin tires. He claims he was saying it because he was full of lies, but I don't know that even if he was full of lies and you felt like that he's not a good representative for the players, that's poor choice of words and sounds really racist. I'm sorry.
Well, with this thing, there's also you have to think of both sides. With Gruden, I was listening to what they're talking about on Sunday Night Football a little bit ago, and they're saying that this was 10 years ago. This happens nowadays with cancel culture. They're going to pull stuff out that happens 10 years ago, a long time ago, and it'll come back to get you. It is, people were talking on the show that they, like Tony Dungy, and I forgot the other guy's name, but they're talking about how Gruden's not been racist. They know that he's not a racist, and that it is unfortunate that it came out, but at the same time, like that's not the way he is. And I know there's gonna be people upset about him saying that, and understandably so. But at the same time, this was, I feel like he's not a bad coach. I don't feel like he should be fired for it. They did lose today to the Bears, so both teams are now 3-2. And Fields finally scored his first passing touchdown. But yeah, it's just a crazy situation. And now the media is blowing it up out of proportion, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I have no opinion on it, but John Gruden doesn't really seem like too bad of a guy. He's a great coach, so I don't know, or he was a great coach. I'm not sure, but yeah. Bills signed tight end Teron Johnson, and let's talk about all these big injuries. Russell Wilson's hurt. He's got a dislocated finger. He popped it back into place. He'll probably be out like 6 to 8 weeks, which sucks for me. I hate to be one of those guys, but I am. That's going to hurt my fantasy team. So then I gotta worry with Joe Burrow being my starter. But oh wait, Joe Burrow got knocked out today and apparently had to get taken to the hospital and for not being able to speak. So that's not good. Hopefully he's all right.
Wow, I did not know that about Burrow. I know Russell Wilson. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks. He plays for one of my favorite teams, Seahawks. If I'm correct, Stafford messed up his finger too, but he's still playing. So I don't know why Wilson would be out for 6 to 8 weeks. I know they're off. They played the Rams, but it's just I just don't get why it should be that long.
He had to get surgery, or he has to get surgery on it, even though I think he popped it into place and finished the game on Thursday night. So
yeah,
I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah,
Saquon Barkley.
I didn't know about Burrow getting hurt, but hopefully he's okay.
Saquon Barkley's ankle swelled up to the size of a balloon, which that's not great for the Giants. I mean, they're already so bad, but his ankle that makes it worse because Saquon's their best running back. And he's kind of like Christian McCaffrey to me, where he gets hurt a lot.
Yeah.
So he's really good, but he just gets hurt so much.
Yeah, and speaking of the Giants, they got throttled 44-20 by the Cowboys today. Dak Prescott had 3 touchdowns, 302 yards. Ezekiel Elliott had 118 yards and 1 touchdown. So things ain't looking good in New York once more, and the Jets lost again today too.
Oh, and did we mention Kenny Golladay hurt his knee? So all I got to say is thank God I traded him in fantasy.
Nah. It's always with the fantasy teams. Anyways.
I only traded him because I got another Giants receiver and I had no use for Kenny. So I was just like, so I traded him for Nelson Aguilar. I don't know how good of a move that was, but now that I hear his knee, that's probably a good move.
I remember when Nelson Aguilar was in Philadelphia, everyone was just giving him a lot of hate and stuff. But now, he's not a bad player.
I mean, he's good enough to be on my bench in fantasy, so yeah. All right. Also, Max Williams had to be carted off the field due to a horrific knee injury. Raiders tight end. And Taysom Hill in the game against Washington, he got a concussion, had to get carted off the field. So a lot of big injuries this week.
Yeah, there has been. It's unfortunate. You don't like to see that happen, but it's also part of the sport. And when you play in a league like the NFL, you're going to get hurt. I mean, it just happens.
So moving on to the MLB.
Well, what's also I want to mention also like a couple other the big games that happened, like Tom Brady, another 5 touchdown performance. Buccaneers beat the Dolphins 45-17. My Pittsburgh Steelers finally won for the first time in a couple weeks. We beat the Broncos 27-19. The Vikings were about to lose to Lions, but came back and got the win. So they ended up winning on a field goal, 19-17. Lions still haven't won a game this year. Vikings 2-3. And yeah, that's the Cardinals beat 49ers. So yeah, right now also it's the Bills and Chiefs game. So we'll figure out how that goes. But yeah, that's going to wrap up the NFL news this week. And moving on to the MLB, we have a couple games right now, actually. This just went final. The Red Sox beat the Rays in 13 innings, 6-4. Which is pretty crazy because the Rays were up and then they were ahead and then they just kept scoring. The Red Sox kept tying it up in extra innings and eventually they must have just won on a walk-off. But yeah, there's a good bit of games in upcoming days. We got the Dodgers and the Brewers game 3 coming up. Dodgers lost game 1 but won game 2. We saw the Braves lose their first game against the Brewers, and they came back, and yeah, they pretty much won pretty handily in game 2 to make it 1-1 heading into Monday's game at 1:00. And the Giants, I should say, the Dodgers played the Giants, not the Brewers, so that's my fault. But yeah, the Giants and Dodgers play tomorrow night too. That is tied 1-1. And the Astros, they're playing the White Sox right now. They lead the series 2-0. And right now in this game, they're beating the White Sox 5-1. So yeah, postseason's ramping up. More people are starting to get more watching into the MLB postseason. I feel like the postseason's the funnest time to watch in baseball other than opening day.
I have to agree with that. I have no teams really to root for in the postseason, which kind of sucks because both my favorite teams got eliminated.
Yeah, we saw the Red Sox beat the Yankees in the wild card game. So the Yankees, they're so loaded, they just couldn't advance.
Yeah, that was pain. I thought the Yankees would beat them or at least give them a game because they had swept them like a week before, but I guess not.
Yeah.
Moving on to the NBA. 18 players arrested after violations of NBA health and safety priorities or something along those lines for retired players, a bunch of former players. The list includes Glenn Big Baby Davis, Tony Allen, Sebastian Telfair, Mitt Pasquino, I don't know how to pronounce that, Antoine Wright, Darius Miles, Ruben Patterson, Eddie Robinson, Greg Smith, Jamario Moon, Terrence Williams, Alan Anderson, Shannon Brown, Will Bynum, Melvin I, Chris Douglas Roberts, and Tony Roten. That is really insane. I'm not sure if they all had like a scheme or if that was just I don't know what it is. Very, very interesting.
You know what all these players had in common, Mike?
What?
They were all backups. They never started most of the time.
That's true.
All these guys usually came off the bench. And I know all those names are pretty much familiar to me. Like Chris Douglas Roberts, I remember going to see one of his first games when he was on the Bobcats. There's Glenn Big Baby Davis, a well-known personality. I guess you could say he rants on social media, and he's known as one of the big guys. And when he played for the Magic and Clippers, Darius Miles, for example, is another guy. He was a very underrated player, in my opinion. He was mainly known for just high flying. He wasn't a great shooter, but he played for the Cleveland Cavs. I mean, the list go on and on. There's just a lot of players like Will Bynum, too. He was really small, but he could fly. He got a couple of dunks on people before, but it's just pretty sad to see. Yeah, Tony Allen, I think, was another name on there, too. It's crazy.
Tony Allen was solid. I remember that. And Bynum was solid too.
Just pretty crazy. I did not expect that news when I was at work on Thursday.
And also, Jaylen Brown of the Boston Celtics has tested positive for COVID, but luckily it's only preseason, so he should be good for when the season begins.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown, one of my favorite players in the league, doesn't play. He plays on a team that I don't like, but I hope he has a good recovery. And speaking of that, there's still Kyrie Irving still in the news for sitting out, or he might sit out games because he doesn't want to get a vaccine. I don't know if you talked about this in the last episode, Mike, but what's your thoughts about that? Do you think that players should be allowed to not have to take it? We don't have to talk about this if you don't want to.
I did not talk about this, and I personally think that everybody's got a choice, and if he chooses not to take it, that's fine.
Yeah, that's basically what I think too.
I think that's what most people think.
Yeah.
So now let's move on to Tyson Fury beating Deontay Wilder. I did not watch this fight. I wanted to, but I went out last night. He knocked him out though, which you'll see later on in the video. But yeah, I thought Tyson was gonna win. I don't really follow boxing too much, but I just kind of researched it and saw Tyson Fury was a good enough fighter, and I just picked him to win.
I knew that this was a big fight, and surprisingly, this went 11 rounds. It was at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Fury got the knockout there in the heavyweight title bout, and it made him basically improve his record to 31-0. So, yeah, most people from what I heard said that it was a good fight. I didn't see much of it, to be honest with you. I only saw the knockout.
Yeah, I heard it was like the best boxing match in years, which pain because I've only been able to see the trash boxing matches that are for money, not really for like fame.
Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather and so now let's talk about college football.
So college football, we had a lot of crazy stuff happen this weekend. Of course, the number one topic right now of number one Alabama losing to Texas A&M, upset. Texas A&M, I think now is 4-2, and they won with a beautiful field goal to win the game. Alabama's defense just not showing up in this game. Bryce Young had a good game, of course, but Texas A&M got the win 41-38. What do you think about this game, Mike?
Yeah, I watched the final quarter. First off, there was a missed targeting call, which you guys be the judge of it. Here's the clip.
Umpire trying to get out of the way of Jalen Preston. Ooh, big hit at the end of that play, and Preston.
It should be targeting. But the game was pretty good at the last few seconds. I thought Bama was going to win, but their backup quarterback, Zach Calzada. Yeah, Zach Calzada. He played a great game. I thought he was the starter until I saw how many of their quarterbacks got hurt. But yeah, he showed up for his team. I couldn't believe that they did that. And I mean, I have respect for Nick Saban and the whole Alabama school, but it's always nice to see them lose once in a while with how much they win. But you know they're going to get back up there. And I just looked at the top 25. Georgia is now number 1, and Bama is now number 5, I believe. So
I think there's 7 or 5.
Bama will be back. I know that they'll probably not lose a game for the rest of the season. Watch. Saban's going to be all pissed off, and he's going to make them win all games.
Yeah, I mean, that game was pretty crazy. And of course, people ran onto the field. And then there's this one female fan that got absolutely trampled by a police officer as Saban was trying to leave, and he was running off the field too. It's just pretty crazy, But moving on, I feel like the second most talked about game this weekend was one I watched most of. And this one was probably the craziest game I've seen between Oklahoma and Texas in a while. So basically, Texas was they were 21 and they got out to a huge lead. They were up 28-7 in the first quarter. I thought it was done. I thought it was over with. Oklahoma put in their backup quarterback, and all of a sudden we got a good game. Like Oklahoma stormed back. They were losing though, still 38-13 at half. They still came back. I thought it was over with. Texas scored again. Oklahoma would score again. And unlike the old days where it used to be rough and tough and low scoring matchups between the two schools, the last couple of years I've noticed it's been really high scoring. And in this one, Texas scored again, made it 48-48. Then all of a sudden Oklahoma scores with 3 seconds left in the game, and they win it 55-48. It was just a really crazy game, I would say.
Yeah, I heard it was.
Yeah, we saw a couple other like really good games, like Iowa beat Penn State 23-20. So Iowa moves up to number 2 on the playoff ranking. They are undefeated.
Another game where
Michigan
fans
about
on the field.
upset.
And that'll do it. Iowa 23, Penn State 20, and here they come. It's not heaven. It's Iowa.
That was a packed house there in that game. We saw number 10 BYU. I feel like they were overrated anyway. They got beat by Boise State 26-17. We saw another very high scoring game. Sorry, go ahead.
Is Boise State ranked?
No, they're 3-3.
Wow.
So I knew BYU was overrated, but another big high scoring game was an SEC matchup between Ole Miss and Arkansas. Ole Miss pulled out the win 52-51. Arkansas's quarterback KJ Jefferson had 3 touchdowns, 328 yards, but it wasn't enough to get the win. Notre Dame squeaked out another win somehow. They barely beat Virginia Tech. Kentucky trampled LSU 42-21. And there's also a thing that happened earlier this week where their coach, LSU's coach, Ed Ogeron, if that's how you pronounce it, he got into a little bit of a controversy on a radio call. I don't really want to talk about what was discussed in that, but it was another thing that could have been pretty bad, but he didn't get canceled though, unlike Gruden or Urban Meyer. But we'll move on from that. Okay,
Also, Virginia Tech quarterback was spotted suspiciously receiving pills from an assistant coach during a game.
Oh boy! Wow,
yeah,
I didn't know.
I don't really know too much about it because I just heard about it tonight, but sounds pretty odd.
Yeah, number 24 SMU about lost to 1-4 Navy. They lost 31-24. Florida crushed Vanderbilt. Wake Forest is still undefeated. Surprisingly, Wake Forest has actually moved up to number 12 or 13 on the playoff rankings right now. They beat Syracuse. So, yeah, I think that this weekend college football was pretty crazy.
Sounds like it. I only watched a minute of the Penn State game and the final quarter of the Alabama game. So, and the Maryland game where Maryland lost. They are not a football school.
Did?
Yeah, Maryland got killed by Ohio State. It was like 66-14 or something like that.
Oh no, Mike!
Maryland sucks in football. They are clearly a basketball school. All I gotta say is I'm excited for basketball season.
Okay, yeah. Well, Michigan State's been doing pretty well too. I mean, they were basketball, but I mean, they're football.
Michigan State is both. I feel like they're just so dominant in both.
Well, I will say I'm pretty disappointed in my South Carolina Gamecocks getting killed by Tennessee. Our defense and offense can't do anything. Our quarterbacks don't know how to throw a ball straight. So it's just a mess in Columbia, South Carolina. But yeah, that wraps up the college football news this week. And I forgot to mention as well that UMass won their first game since 2019. They beat UConn.
Wow, they haven't won a game in 2 years.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Jeez,
They're
man.
just that bad. I see you over there shaking your head, Mike.
So now let's get on with the plays of the week. So coming in at number 10 is James Bouknight rocks the rim. Here's the clip.
Here comes Bouknight. 4.5 to play.
You recognize him through the back.
Welcome, my friend, James Bouknight, bringing it down.
And at number 9, we got this crazy play from my hometown Charlotte Hornets guard LaMelo Ball with this crazy. It was going to be a layup, but it ended up being a pass to Terry Rozier. Here's the clip.
Side and second row courtside seats. So just remember these new policies before you head on down to the Spectrum Center to watch your Charlotte Hornets. Guys.
Ashley, thank you so much, and what a beautiful wraparound dime. LaMelo Ball to Terry Rozier.
And at number 8 is Nelson Cruz hits the ball to the catwalk at Tropicana Park. Here's the clip.
19 players on this team acquired by trade, including this guy Cruz, who hits one to the moon here, but did he get under it? Back to the wall. It hits one of the rings. It's in play and a live ball that allows Cruz to keep on rolling into third base.
I think that's gone.
But they are now signaling home run.
Yeah, that's gone.
So that hit a C ring and a home run for Nelson Cruz. You've got 4 rings up there, A and B. If it hits those, it's live and in play. If it's hit C or D in fair territory, it's a home run. And that one did to make it 3-0.
Yeah, they figured out by the height of the ball and where it hits that ring, there's no chance it's going to stay in. And you could see this ball was crushed, and it hits that right there. No chance it's not a home run. You got the small ring is A, you got the outer ring is B, and then you got the larger ring, which is C, which is where they hit it.
And for Nelson Cruz, it's his 18th postseason home run, his first to hit a ring.
At number 7, we got John Collins' epic posterizing dunk in a preseason game over Jared Allen. Roll the clip.
50 left. Hawks ball out the timeout. Cooper on the lob and up top to John Collins. What a play. Holy.
Look at this pass. John goes up.
Even the Cavalier bench.
And looked like he
couldn't believe it.
Shoulders.
6, we just talked about it, but here is the actual knockout. Tyson Fury KOing Deontay Wilder. Here's the clip.
At number 5, we got Kevin Durant keeping his head in the game. Roll the clip.
It's a sprint. Lost it. Harris is open. Corner 3. Joe Harris bottoms.
And at number 4 is Daniel Gafford getting 3 blocks in 23 seconds. Here's the clip.
44-35, Knicks on top. Burks. And Gafford says, get it out of there again.
That's pretty impressive. But at number 3, we got Seth Small's game-winning field goal.
Seth Small, 10 of 11 on the year, from 28 yards away for an Aggie upset win. And it's good. He got it.
Pay the fine that's probably upcoming for what just happened tonight.
I think you could call that a signature win for Jimbo Fisher.
Absolutely.
And at number 2 is Jameis Winston's Hail Mary to end the first half. Here's the clip.
Cody Parkey's long is 54 yards in his career.
Here is Winston, just going to take his shot, throwing towards the end zone, and it is good! My goodness!
Davis. Touchdown.
And at number 1, we have to put my Dodgers. Chris Taylor's walk-off to send the Dodgers to the National League Division Series against the Giants. Roll the clip.
Reyes fires, swing and a drive, deep left field. This is way back. Walk him off. Chris Taylor.
And so with that, that will conclude this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. We will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
See y'all.